Hi, you are welcome to today's class. Today we are looking at the lowest common multiple, the LCM. LCM is the short for lowest common multiple. And if you look at the word lowest common multiple, it's a combination of different words. You have lowest joined with common with multiple. And if you are asked that what is a multiple is a number that you have when two factors are multiplied with each other. For example, now I'm going to repeat that definition again. A multiple is a number that you have when two factors are multiplied with each other. Now, for example, now let's say that we have two factors. We have factor 7 and factor 5. When you multiply 7 with 5, 7 times 5 will give you 35. So 35 is a multiple for 7 and 5. That will lead us to lowest common multiple. What is lowest common multiple? It's just the least multiple of set of numbers. And while solving for L.C.M, you can use different methods. You can use the multiplication method and you can use the division method. As for today's class, we'll be dealing with some examples, and for each example, we'll be solving for the L.C.M with both multiplication method and division method. So let's move on. This example, let's assume that in your class as JSS1 student, you are asked to find the L.C.M of 10, 12, and 15. Find the L.C.M of 10, 12, and 15. Now, we are going to start with the multiplication method. Now, when you are using the multiplication method, the first thing that you have to do is to what? Express each of the number in the product of its prime factors. We have to express each of the number in the product of the prime factors. So if you look at 10 now, I'm going to express 10 in the product of its prime factors, which two numbers that if I multiply with each other will give me 10, and they are prime factors. 2 times 5 is what? 2 times 5 is 10, and if you look at the two numbers, 2 is a prime factor, 5 is a prime factor. I've just expressed my 10 as a product of I just explained 10 in the product of its prime factors. Now if you look at 12 now, which two number or which numbers if you multiply with each other, prime factors that if you multiply with each other will give you 12. Know that 4 times 3 is 12, but 4 is not a prime number, so I will just change that 4 into what? Into 2 times 2. You know that 2 times 2 is 4. Then 4 times 3 is what? Is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. So I've just expressed 12 as product of prime factors. What about 15? 3 times 5 is what? Is 15. Now that we have expressed each of number in the product of their prime factors, the next thing is to write our L.C.M. So you know that L.C.M is the least multiple of set of numbers. So we will start from 2 now and we'll pick it out. Now 2 appears here, 1. 2 appear in the product of prime factors for 12, 2. So we start with 2. So our L.C.M now, we start with 2 now. So you pick where 2 appears most. Where it appears most, 2 appears once, 2 appears twice. So we just go for where it appears most, and 2 appears most 2 times. Now we have pick where 2 appears most 2 times. We go for the next number, which is 3. 3 appear here once. That means that we just pick 1. That's 3. And if you look at 5 now, 5 also appear here once. Okay, it appears once. And if that we have where 5 appears maybe twice, you go for where it appears most. That's times 5. So you now get the product. 2 times 2 is what? 4. 2 times 2, 4. Then 4 times 3, that's 12. 12 times 5, 60. The answer is what? 60. The L.C.M for 10, 12, and 15 is 16 using the multiplication method. Now, if you are to solve it using the division method, you draw your line, you write out the numbers. You know we are looking for the L.C.M of 10, 12, and 15. Make sure you draw your line, then you divide it with prime factors. Make sure that you divide with prime factors. Now we go with 2. 2 in 10 is what? That will be 5. 2 in 12. How many 2 can you see in 12? That will be 6. Can 2 go in 15? No, 2 will go in 15. 7 times but remainder 1. 2 is not a factor of 15. So because 2 is not a factor of 15, I'm going to write my 15 back. So you still look for a factor that can divide any of the number. 2 again. 2 is not a factor of 5, so you write your 5. 2 is 6, that will be 3. But is 2 a factor of 15? No, 2 is not a factor. You still write your 15. Now you go for 3 now. Is 3 a factor of 5? No, 3 is not a factor of 5. But 3 is a factor of 3 because 3 will divide 3 one time, so it will not give you any remainder. 3 in 15, that will be what? That will be 5. Then we can now go for 5. 5 will divide 5 without a remainder. You still maintain your 1. Then 5 in 5, that will be 1. So what is the next thing? Your L.C.M is what? You write out those figures that you have on your left hand side. I mean this. So let's write it out. That will be 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. So the L.C.M for 10, 12, and 15 will be 2 times 2, which is 4. 4 times 3, which is 12. 12 times 5, which is 60. Now if you look at the final answer, despite using different method, when we use division method, we have about 60. When we use the multiplication method, we have 60. So that's tell you that irrespective of the methods that you are using, if you do it if you solve correctly, you have to have the same answer. Now let's try 4 numbers. Let's solve for the L.C.M of, let's say we have 4 different numbers. Let's assume that you have to solve for the L.C.M of 9, 10, 12, 15. You can see that we're having 4 numbers. We want to solve for the L.C.M of 4 numbers. Now we have to use the multiplication method first. So you think of the first step is that you express each of the number in the product of prime factors. So you think of 2 numbers that if you multiply with each other will give you that number 9. So which numbers that are prime factors that if you multiply with each other will give us 9? 3 times 3. Your 3 times 3 will give you 9. And the 3 is a what? It's a prime factor. Now what about 10? 10 is what? Prime factor that you can multiply that can give you 10. That will be 2 times 5. So that will be what? That will be 10. Now if you look at 12, you think of prime factors that can give you 12. If you say that 4 times 3 is 4 a prime number or a prime factor? No. So but that 4 you can write as 2 times 2. That's 4 now. Then times 3. You know that 2 times 2, 4 times 3. You have your 12, and all the numbers are what? They are all prime numbers. Now if you look at your 15, 15 is what? 2 prime factors that can give you 15. That will be 3 times 5. Now let's write our L.C.M. Now I told you that you pick the number, all the numbers one after the other, and you go for where it appears most. Let's start with 2. You don't have any 2 here, but 2 appear here. It appears here twice. Once. You go for where it appears most. It appears twice. That will be 2 raised to power 2. That is 2 times 2. That's where it appears most. We have settled 2. Let's move to 3. How many 3? 3 appear 1, 2, twice for 9. 3 did not appear for 10. 3 appear in 12, 1, 1. Where it appears most is 9, which is twice. So you go for where it appears most. That will be 3 times 3, right? Now do we have, okay, the next one is 5. 5 appears once. So you go for where it appears. You only have 5. So the next, now if you look at this will be 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. That will be 2 times 2 is what? That will be 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Then 4 times 3 is what? That will be 12. 12 times 3 is what? That will be 36. Then 36 times 5, that will give you your 180. So if you want to make use of the division method, all you need to do is that you draw out the lines. Then you have drawn out the lines, make sure you put the numbers. You know we're having 9, 10, 12, and 15. So you pick a number that's a prime factor of one of the numbers, or a number that can divide one of the numbers that you have written without any remainder. You know that 2 in 9, 2 is not a factor of 9, so you have your 9 back written. 2 in 10, that's 5. 2 in 12, 6. Is 2 a factor of 15? No, you still have your 15. So you are picking 2 again. 2 in 9 is not a factor of 9, so you write your 9 again. 2 in 5, you still have your 5, because we can't use 2 to divide, because 2 is not a factor of 5, but 2 is a factor of 6. That's why we use 2 to divide 6 to. Then we have 3. 2 in 15, you still have your 15 back, because 2 is not a factor of 15. So we try to go for 3. We try to go for 3. 3 in 9, that will be 3. 3 in 5, 3 is not a factor of 5, you write your 5 back. 3 in 3, that will be 1. 3 in 15, that will be 5. Yes, you can still go for 3. Why? Because 3 will go in 3 1, but for 5, you still write your 5 back. You maintain your 1, you still maintain your 5. The reason why we need to write our 5 back, so 3 is not a factor of 5. Then you go for 5. 5 in 1, you maintain your 1. 5 in 5, 1. 5 in, you still maintain your 1. 5 in 5, 1. Then you write out the numbers on this side. Number that you have on this side, which are 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 12. That will be 2 times 2. That will be what? That will be 4. 4 times 3, 12. 12 times 3, that will be 36. 36 times 5, that will be 180. You can see that we are having similar answer to what we have when we solve the first, when we solve for L.C.M using multiplication method. You can see that we have 180 here. We also have 180 here. It shows that if you can use any of the method depending on the one you are comfortable with. So we have finally come to the end of today's class, but remember to subscribe. If you are visiting my YouTube channel for the first time, hit the subscribe button and make sure you put on the notification icon so that you can get notified when I post new video. And one more thing, make sure you write something about today's class in the comment box, and if you have any question that you want to ask, kindly write it down. I'll be so happy to answer your questions. Thank you for being part of today's class.